Wow, it is Thursday again. This is Charlotte Bergman with Political Talk with Charlotte. Thank you for spending your time with me. This is lunchtime, so I hope you can sit back, grab your lunch, grab your popcorn, maybe some Kool-Aid or so. Thank you all for joining me. I would appreciate you sharing your comments. This is going to be a great show. I have a dear friend whom I met at one of the meetings that I attend. And so she actually reached out to me. And as I look at her bio, I am just so excited. Her name is Melanie Wiggins, and you're going to know her after we finish with this show. And I hope what she says will be a blessing to you. So anyway, let's get this show started. How about it? Oh my gosh, I see people are coming in already. Let's get started, guys. And we are back. As I said, I'm Charlotte Bergman. Thanks for joining Political Talk with Charlotte this week. Our show airs every Thursday at noon. And sometimes when something special happens and I feel that you need to know about it and get the information from unbiased lenses, I do a special show as I did last Sunday. In order to maybe share your thoughts, if I say something that you disagree with, please email me at charlotte@charlottebergman.com or join both of my Facebook pages at electbergman.com, which is the fan page, or charlotte.bergman.9. Between those two pages, we have over 13,000 viewers. On Bitchute, you can join me at Political Talk with Charlotte. On Twitter, you can join me at Elect Bergman. On YouTube, you can join me at Bergman for Congress, and on Twitch, at Charlotte Bergman. Guys, this is going to be a great show. How many of you have ever experienced trauma in your life? We're going to talk about that. If you're new to this channel, please leave a comment. Subscribe to the show. Please subscribe to the show. You can subscribe on YouTube or Rumble. I appreciate your support on Facebook. Just help us to grow, because help us to break that shadow banning. You know, Google is saying that people whose accounts have been ended, who just cause people to lose money because they just arbitrarily cut them off. They're saying that these channels are restored. Mine hasn't been restored yet, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and that they will do the right thing, because they were doing that during the Joe Biden's administration. But since President Trump just won a humongous lawsuit against them, I think they're going to hopefully do the right thing. I love you and I appreciate you. You guys are my favorite people that I look forward to interacting with on Thursdays. Just want to remind people my book, The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America. If you miss reading it, you need to get a copy of it. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest, Melanie Wiggins. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Melanie. Yeah, she's got a resume out of this world. First of all, Melanie is a seasoned leader. She's an entrepreneur and a mentor who has spent her career helping people step into their potential. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. She is a vice president of a multi-million-dollar staffing company, and she has led teams, built client partnerships, and guided countless individuals toward new career opportunities. So if you're looking for a job, especially considering the spigot is about to be open and jobs are going to be coming back to the United States, Melanie is the one you need to reach out to. Melanie is so interested, and she couldn't wait to get started. At age 20, 20 years old. She purchased her first business. And she did that, setting the foundation for a lifetime of entrepreneurship. I just went to a funeral for a man by the name of Walker Ewellhorn. Many of you are aware of him. He thrived on entrepreneurship. And I'll tell you, and I hope Melanie will explain to you a little bit later when she talked with you, how important entrepreneurship is. But I'll just interject this. As I used to do a talk show on KLM, a gentleman called into my show and he says, when I was a teenager, I got in trouble and I have a felony on my records. I can't get a job now, but I do have a successful business. Well, entrepreneurship is the way for people to actually be able to have a successful life. Okay, check this out. Melanie is a former competitive bodybuilder. Oh, I went to the gym yesterday. I'm nowhere near that. She brings the same discipline, resilience, and drive from the stage into every area of her professional and personal life. Now, she is married to her husband, and they've been married for over 30 years. Melanie's story is one of grit, growth, and commitment to overcoming adversity. This is what's so exciting about her story, turning wounds into wisdom and refusing to settle for anything less than breakthrough moments. More about Melanie. This lady, you're going to listen, send her your comments. She is a founder of BET on Your Breakthrough. Melanie combines her executive experience, entrepreneurial spirit, and personal story of resilience to mentor others through coaching and speaking. She is also the author. She's got a book. She's the author of the upcoming book, Still Standing, a story carried in silence for far too long. Oh, that's a very interesting sentence. Melanie's voice is both practical and inspiring, rooted in real world leadership and fueled by a passion for transformation. Guys, welcome Melanie to our show today. And it seems like we've got some people who are commenting already. What is this? We have a very, very, very long comment by George P. Brooks. I'm not sure. George, don't let me go in and have to delete everything you type. I hope everyone is having a blessed day. Oh, he's talking about political slavery. Today, we're talking about Melanie's story. So anyway, let's bring on Melanie. Melanie, as I read your bio, I found it very, very interesting. And what I'd like to do is ask you a question about a topic that you mentioned. Whisper behind the wound. Whisper behind the wound. Overcoming trauma and building resilience. What do you mean by that?
Well, Charlotte, thank you first for having me on today. Thank you to your audience for giving us this time together. And thank God for bringing you and I together to help share a story that I hope resonates with your viewers and those they know and love. What I mean by whisper behind the wound is, and we'll touch a little more on it later in the call, but the whisper behind the wound for me is that voice that we all have, that inner voice. For some people, it's an inner voice. Some people, it's our good Lord. It keeps reminding us that the wounds we have do not define us. They're there to remind us that we're here for a purpose. So it's great to have that inner voice, that whisper, because sometimes it's not a whisper. Sometimes it's a roar. Sometimes it's an in-your-face voice that says, do something with your story, do something with your life, and live your purpose.
Wow. You can go on from there, Melanie. Tell us about. I want to hear about the trauma first. Is that cheating?
We can do it that way. It's perfectly fine. And I'd like to explain the why behind me wanting to tell the story.
Okay.
But the story began in 1985 when my mother met an individual, got married, and moved our little family to North Mississippi. I was excited to have a new dad. as mine had decided that our family wasn't the right one for him. So excited to have a new dad. Excited for the new opportunities for me and my mother in a new city. And in that excitement, this individual introduced me to softball, basketball, Shirley Temples. We did the traditional family outings. We went fishing on the weekends and rented movies, and it started off as being a wonderful, wonderful time in my life. And I was basically starting the third grade at that time, so I was a child. And but soon after that, Charlotte, I realized as this individual's mask kind of started to slide, as their facade started to crumble, I realized that relationship building was actually grooming, and we all know what grooming means.
Explain
Um,
to my audience what grooming it means, if you don't mind.
so, grooming is a tactic used by sexual predators to bring their victims closer to them and guide them and have them trust them and know them and love them. And it's very, very common in that world. But when you're living it, you don't know it. So fast forward, this is happening. And that grooming, that relationship started to become abuse. It was very controlling. My mother was controlled her every move. Time away from our home. Why are you so late? Just checking in. It was just a very controlling situation. And the abuse for me came in emotional, physical, and sexual abuse as the years progressed. And I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version today, Charlotte, because I could speak about my story and my life for a while. But I will say that this individual made a mistake. He slipped up and he got caught. And when he got caught, he was handcuffed, um, booked, and placed in jail awaiting all of the court proceedings and the trial. And this is not just a regular Joe. This is somebody that spent over 30 years in the Teamsters Union, successful job, National Guard, Army, veteran. So the people that thought they knew him were really surprised by these actions. And during the court proceedings, um, I think divine choreography in my life started because the judge that actually ended up writing the laws that he was convicted under was my judge. So he was very passionate about this topic, and he was very passionate about helping people in my situations overcome those challenges. And he sentenced this individual to 144 years in prison for what he did to me. And it's 144 years only because they could only prove 12 counts per month for 12 months of what I actually went through. But the abuse went on for far, far longer than that. And during that time, thank you. During that time, I was not allowed to date. I was not allowed to have friends over. I won't go into details about other things, but I did not let that hurt my soul. I was controlled, but I had let my light still shine because you see, I come from strength. My grandfather was an Army veteran, a deputy sheriff, and a graduate of the FBI Academy. And my grandmother, Betty Harper, was registered. She put herself through nursing school while raising 5 kids and working a full-time job. So they set the stage for my mother, who's my rock. She was obviously there with me through all of this, and we worked through it and lived it together. And she's still my rock and my best friend to this day. She's an incredible woman. Her name is Jeannie.
Hi,
And
Jeannie. I hear you're listening.
Mom, I hope you're listening. So, back to the trial and the judge, and I mentioned divine choreography and how I feel like God really put all of this together for a reason so it would be unique. I mentioned 144-year prison sentence. Well, that sentence was to be carried out at Parchment Penitentiary in Mississippi, which we know is the toughest and one of the oldest in the state. But when the court proceedings were over, Charlotte, I thought that was the end of the story. My mom and I were going to live our lives unchained, unburdened, free, feeling like the weight of the world was off of our shoulders. But God wasn't done yet. You see, my grandmother for years had been approached by the state of Mississippi to come work for them in their nursing program. And for years she told them no. But for one day, unbeknownst to her, the reason not known, she began to think about it and she eventually said yes to the state of Mississippi. And she was assigned to be a nurse at Parchment Penitentiary. So imagine my grandmother walking into that ward in their hospital and seeing the individual that had molested her only granddaughter at the time. She didn't waver. She didn't rage. She didn't try to get revenge. She knew that she was there for a purpose. And she showed up and she did her job. She did it ethically and she did it proudly. And she got to watch him suffer as if our family got the last word in this. Justice was served, and thanks to God, and a little more. So that's the basis of my story. The why behind me wanting to tell it. You know, I've had friends and family for years that say, you've got to use your voice. You've got to allow your story to be told because God did not choreograph all of that for you to just to fill up your days with a life event. He's allowed you to go through this for a purpose. And my why, Charlotte, came about 2 years ago. I was driving down Interstate 55 near Goodman Road in North Mississippi, which any of your local listeners will know that's one of the busiest sections of interstate highway in our state. And I was a normal day traveling about 70 miles per hour. And I look up, I'm watching my surroundings, had a great, wonderful day at work. And I felt my head nod just in an instant. And I felt my car go through what I could not see because I had blacked out. And I woke up, Charlotte, I'd crossed the median. I'd crossed 2 lanes of oncoming traffic. And I ended up on the opposite side of the interstate, perfectly parked with my hands at 10 and 2, just like my driving instructor taught me. And I woke up and I had no idea what had just happened. How did I cross the median and 2 lanes of northbound traffic? And nobody was hurt. My car wasn't damaged. I called 911. I called my parents, said, please go get my husband. I do not want him driving here in a panic. And paramedics came and a medical emergency was confirmed. I was treated for that. And I guess as the days and the weeks went by, and I continued to replay this scene in my head and thinking of all the what ifs. And if you've been in a similar situation, Charlotte, you'll know that those what ifs keep playing on a loop in your mind until you come to some resolution or way to handle it. And for me, it was hearing that whisper and hearing that voice and saying, you have got to pay attention and do something with this. You have been spared for a reason. And my answer, I guess, to that calling is to have conversations with people like you and your audience to share the story in hopes that I can help someone else that went through what I went through.
Thank you so much. I couldn't imagine the pain that you've gone through. But it seems like God was moving things around so that justice could be served, so that your family could be in the right place at the right time. I think that experience that you had on the road, I know that was God reaching out to you, getting your attention so that you would be able to tell your story to help more people. Now, based upon that, let's talk about what you're doing and how you're using those experiences to help other people.
So over the years, I've been able to speak with individuals that confided in me about their personal childhood trauma that was similar to mine and kind of coach them and guide them. But now what I'm working on, Charlotte, is in my speaking and my coaching, I've developed a Bet on Your Breakthrough program. And that program is to jump on a quick call with me for 15 minutes and let's really dive in and see where do you need where do you need help most? Is it overcoming things that I've been through? Are you stuck in your job? Do you just feel unfulfilled in some way and you're lost, you don't have an answer? So that's my current platform that I've launched. Of course, you mentioned the book. Hopefully that book will be out for the public in first quarter of the upcoming year. I'm very excited about it. I get an opportunity to expound on the little bit that I've shared with you today. So it's my goal to work one on one with others or groups or training, that sort of thing, to let people understand that you are not the label that society gave you. You are not a victim. You can use all of your life events for good and turn those wounds into wisdom, as you mentioned in my bio, because we don't have the right. And I had a coach tell me this about 10 weeks ago when she heard my story. She said, Melanie, what do you like to do when you're not working? I said, I love to go home and spend time with my husband, Charlie, our dog, make a great meal, and turn off the noise of the world. And I will never forget that she mentioned to me, she said, Melanie, you do not have the right to keep people away from you or keep yourself away from people. You have a story and you have a voice and you need to use it. And she was absolutely right.
Okay, I was confused as to what she meant initially, but now
Yeah,
I understand. You are a woman on a mission, and that mission comes from God. And
correct.
I think a lot of people are working and surviving day by day, putting one step in front of the other, and their minds are probably still on that pain or the trauma that they experienced. But what you're here to say is you can move forward with your life.
Yeah, move forward with your life. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have put on the screen ways that people can reach you. Would you mind just verbally telling them how to reach you? What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, the preferred method initially is the email. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me time to respond back to you. But I'm not opposed to a text that says, "Hi, my name is Charlotte. I saw your podcast, and I'd love to talk with you more about your program. Introduce yourself. We'll schedule a quick call, or simply reach out via email, ask any questions. The people that know me know I'm an open book. Um, I tend to overshare. I'm not apologetic about that. So, cell phone is great. The initial text is preference.
Okay, good. And I've got that information on the screen for you so you can reach out to Melanie. Now, what I want to do is sort of explain to you some of the things that she does in order to help you transform your life and your career. Um, Melanie does offers certain. She speaks at various events, and she has spoken on various topics. As the my initial question to her was, "What is meant by whisper behind the wound, overcoming trauma and building resilience?" She's spoken on PET on your breakthrough, unlock your full potential. If you want to be the best person that you can be, Melanie can help you to identify that person and help you with your personal growth. Correct me if I'm wrong, Melanie.
Now, you're definitely on the right track, Charlotte. You are correct.
And I love this. She has spoken on Dare to Dream. And many of you have dreams. And a lot of times the Holy Spirit speaks to us through dreams. That's God telling you, I want you to do a certain thing. So, how do you respond? Well, first of all, you realize that there is a future. And this allows you to create a vision for your future. And Melanie speaks about that and she challenges the audience to dream big and set big goals. And she shares actionable steps to break down big dreams into manageable goals, providing a clear roadmap for turning dreams into reality. Every one of us want that to happen in our lives. You want to expound a little bit more, Melanie?
Sure. As you mentioned, Charlotte, I think a lot of people, they simply get stuck in life and they listen to those out there that tell them that they can never accomplish their dream. They can never, it's too big. They're not skilled enough. They're not smart enough, and so on and so forth. And people lack the self confidence and they listen to that dialogue and they internalize it. And if you're going to dare to dream, you're going to have to be your biggest cheerleader. You're going to have to be your biggest fan. And when all of the naysayers come out of the woodwork, and there will be many, you have to be emotionally intelligent enough to understand that what you're doing is for you. And I had my coach ask me, she said, when you put yourself out there and you tell your story and you talk about having an audience, you're going to have critics. And she said, you're going to have people ask you, who are you to tell your story? And you're going to have to come up with an answer. And I said, I do not have to come up with an answer. I have my answer. And my answer is, if not me, then who? If I don't do whatever my dream is, and your dream could be buying a home, it could be starting a new career path, it could be becoming a speaker, a coach, an author. It could be me when I wanted to be a competitive bodybuilder and people said, why would you want to do such a thing? And I said, because others tell me I shouldn't. So daring to dream means that you've got to have that really good inner dialogue. You've got to believe in yourself and you've got to speak more positively to yourself than anyone else ever would.
Wow, that is really good stuff. I'm looking for this picture I want to show everybody. As I shared with Melanie before the show started, I actually went to work out at the spa. And although I'm not about to become a bodybuilder, I did have an opportunity to lift some weights. I'm increasing those weights, building strength and resiliency. And that's what all of us need to do when we have challenges. We go against the challenge. There is stress associated with bodybuilding and associated with our life. Bottom line is what Melanie and I are telling you, hey, don't give up, guys. Even though you experience resistance, resistance is there to make you strong. It really is. It's
That
there
is
to make
correct.
you strong. And Melanie is someone, you see that smile on her face? She's not defeated. And you deserve that same thing in your life. Reach out to Melanie if you have questions. You deserve the best. She can help you understand how you can reach your goal, how you, if you've experienced trauma, if you've experienced obstacles in your life, and you feel that you have a vision, you just don't know how to get there. With her life experiences, with the knowledge that she has, reach out to her and she can help you. And more importantly, as I said earlier, and it bears repeating, this country is about to explode. And with the Memphis Task Force coming to Memphis, I believe a lot of businesses are going to say, Memphis may be a safe place to relocate our businesses. And Memphis does have a lot going for itself, especially when it comes to the fact where we're located geographically. We're located and we have I-40 going from the west to the east, and we have the abilities for transports to occur from New Orleans all the way up as far as one can go, even up to Canada. We are positioned perfectly for progress, for manufacturing, for whatever businesses and whatever people want to build here. And Melanie is going to be the person you need to reach out to when you feel like you're ready to be able to get a job and to be able to provide the services that these new employers are going to be looking for. Correct me if I'm wrong, Melanie.
You are absolutely correct. Charlotte. Memphis is got an exciting future ahead of it. Hopefully, this administration is going to make it a safer place, as you mentioned. And I would love to assist anyone that's currently in the market that's looking for a job to reach out to me. But for those that are moving to the area, let's have a 5-minute conversation. Tell me what you do and what you're about. Send me your resume. I've got a lot of contacts because that's what I do. I'm in the
And
people placing business.
how long have you been in this industry, Melanie?
I just had my 10th anniversary. So I learned the industry kind of backwards. I learned the back office portion of it and moved over to the operational side. And now I'm the vice president of the company. And I get the pleasure of sending people to work every day to help support their goals, their dreams, their families. And it's a very, very unique industry, which I enjoy very much.
Wow, that is so exciting. Thank you. Thank you for the skills that you have that you're sharing with our community. And I think I have some more comments. I think I can't get to the comments because somebody wrote large paragraphs. But anyway, I want to thank each of you for joining us today. This has been a great show. Melanie is going to have a huge influence on how great Memphis will become. So get her phone number. Um, Write down her phone number, 901-484-7889. But more importantly, send her an email at Melanie, that's spelled with an I-E, Melanie at Be On Your Breakthrough. Is that bet
Bet on your breakthrough. It's
betonyourbreakthrough.com. God bless you. Thank you. And
thank
guys,
you.
we had an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better before the show started. And that's my sister that you see that is smiling there. We have a lot in common. And I'm looking at her background, Fort Knox. I hope that there's lots of gold in Fort Knox. So thank you guys. You guys have a blessed day, a great weekend, and I appreciate you. You have no idea how much I love you and I pray for you and I respect you and honor you because you join us on a weekly basis and you make our program great. God bless you. Thank you, Melanie. Is
Thank
there
you, Charlotte.
you want to share before we go?
It's time for people to put verbs in their sentences. It's time to get busy. It's time for them to be passionate. Your time is now.
I love it. Great ending. You take care and thank you for joining us.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.